Flight of the Navigator. Shite of the Navigator. Let's get into it. Flight of the Navigator is from 1986. It lasts about an hour and a half. It's a tale of a young boy who goes missing for 8 years, only to turn up the same age as he was when he left. And it turns out he's been on an intergalactic space journey. NASA, his family, and he all want to know what has happened in the 8 years that's missing from his life. He can't remember a thing, he hasn't aged a day, but he might get the answers he needs with the help of a friendly, talking spaceship. That's my synopsis. Do you want to give a synopsis? Sure. This is the most boring Disney family adventure I've ever seen. It just goes on and on. Nothing happens. I wouldn't say that. I would. Give us a tagline. David is 8 years late for dinner, and the government wants to know why. That David has an absolutely fantastic excuse. It's a bit wordy. It's a bit wordy, yeah. They should have said that David's excuse is out of this world. Maybe, definitely. The movie opens with what seems to be a flying saucer. Yeah, it's actually just a Thursday. It's a 1978 Dog Thursday Catching Championships in Fort Lauderdale. Seriously. We see a young boy, David, and he's trying to teach his dog how to catch a frisbee. Yeah, the dog's not interested. Well, we get a nice montage of all these dogs catching frisbees. We see that David's dog, Bruiser, isn't the best at catching frisbees. But it's a fun day out. The family, David, his mum, his dad, and his little brother, Jeff. Yeah, he's really annoying. Well, they all get into the car at the end of the day. Yeah, and then a big giant shadow comes looming over the field. And everyone freezes and just looks at it. I thought this was time freezing, and everyone is like frozen in time except for David. Or something that, no, it's a glint passing by, and everyone just freezes to watch it. It's a bit strangely shot, this scene, because they do all seem to freeze as if trapped in some sort of cosmic beam or something rubbish. The family drive home, and on the way they drop off Jeff to play with one of his friends. This little topless kid that lives in the woods and is playing with fireworks.
You're a twisted little weirdo.
Don't let your kid play with him. David, his mum and dad return home. Yeah, nice beachfront property. They're not exactly skint. No, they're not. They've got a nice house. David goes up to his bedroom when they go home, looks out his window. Yeah, and he's looking through like his telescope or his binoculars or something. It's some little girl.
What the?
Well, he's a little boy, to be fair. It's a little girl he fancies.
Alright.
And that's never mentioned again. That's true. He asks his dad, how do you ask a girl out? How do you know if a girl likes you? They have a little chat. And it's irrelevant. It's just like killing time. It never comes to anything, I suppose. Later, the parents decide, let's all go out on the boat for something to eat. They don't. Yeah, fancy. So they send David to go and get his little brother Jeff. They know that Jeff usually starts walking home about this time, so they say, David, it's dark. Go and meet your brother and walk him home the rest of the way. Yeah, so David takes the dog, he goes through the woods, and Jeff jumps out on.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, and then he chases Jeff, and Jeff's annoying. Jeff's like really annoying. Well, he's just a little boy. He's a little never mind. But Jeff runs one way, Bruiser runs the other way, David runs after Bruiser. You're on, Jeff. While he's chasing his dog, David falls down a pit, and he seems to be knocked out for a few seconds. When he comes to, he gets out of the pit, realises his dog and his brother are nowhere to be seen. He assumes they must have gone home, so he heads home as well.
That's what he thinks!
And this is where the movie goes crazy. David returns to his home. The door's locked, he can't get in, so he chaps the door, and an old lady answers.
Who are you?
Who are you?
And he runs in the house, looking for his family. He's like, Mum, Dad, Jeff, Bruiser. But no one responds. The old couple take him in. Yeah, they instantly say,
Call the police.
how sympathetic. So the cops do come along, and we find there's a missing persons report on David from 8 years ago. What's going on? David's confused. That they find out where his family now live, and they take him there. A police cruiser rolls up to the house. They all get out. David gets out, and David's mum and dad are now 8 years older. They look pretty much the same, just a bit like sadder. Is that what happens when you get older? But they're delighted to see David. Yeah, they're not like, how come he's the same age? They're just instantly like, oh my goodness, it's David. By the way, the dog's still alive somehow. Well, that's good. Yeah, come on. And we see Jeff again. Yeah, he's in his late teens by now, and he is embracing the 1980s. He says rad, he wears cool shirts. Eventually, David is taken to the hospital. They want to run tests on him, see why he hasn't aged, where he's been for 8 years, why he can't remember anything. Yeah.
Your story's full of hood.
Yeah, and he's got like electrodes connected to his brain, so it can show brainwave patterns, you know. And as brainwave patterns draw an intricate picture of a spaceship. For some reason it doesn't just show that there is brain activity or there's normal or abnormal brain activity. This graph actually shows a line drawing of a spaceship. And somehow from this hospital, that's picked up on the computers at NASA. What is going on? They don't have the internet, that didn't exist. How did NASA get it? I don't know. But it turns out NASA actually have a spaceship. They found a spaceship that's landed on Earth and they've taken it back to their base. And obviously it looks like the one he's drawn with his mind. Yeah, it looks like a big walnut. David's mum and dad are convinced to let NASA take him to their special hospital. Yeah, their facility here, they just lock him in a little room and studying.
Like an animal.
There's no windows, there's no telephone, there's nothing. Except every day he gets a visitor called Carolyn.
Hi, I'm Carolyn McAdams.
Who's like got this nail rod up. And this nail rod up is like a suitcase on wheels. Well, a big suitcase on wheels. Yeah. That it carries all the things that she could just carry in her hands. Yeah. To be fair, it's only carrying like letters and maybe the occasional milkshake for David. She can manage that. Lazy. David and Carolyn strike up a little bit of a friendship. She teaches him about 80s music. Yeah, because he keeps asking about 70s things like Starsky and Hutch and all this. And she's like, oh, that rubbish went off the air years ago. I don't think she calls it rubbish. No, that it is. Anyway, David is put through some tests. He lies in a bed and they strap things to his head and read his name somehow. While he's being examined, he starts to get psychic messages in his mind from the spaceship. Yeah. And this is how we find out he was gone for 50 light years. It was 4 hours for him and 8 years for everyone else on Earth.
Nonsense.
By the way, none of this is done very excitingly. It's all like, here's what happened. Here's what happened next. It's a boring movie. So the whole time David's at NASA, he's under the impression that he's staying there for 2 days, but then he overhears a conversation where he finds out he's not going home. Either! You live here now, Daddy. So he decides to escape. He hides in the nail dot. Finally, this robot has a tortoise. He climbs inside it, and then we get a sequence of David inside the mailbot, travelling across the base. Yeah, this goes on for ages. And nothing happens. They just like wheel past some guards. They just wheel through an open door, through an open gate. A little tune playing in the background. It's no filler. Maybe. Definitely. Well, anyway, David gets to his destination. I don't know how he controls the mailbot, but he gets to his destination. I don't know how he controls the mailbot exactly, it's rubbish. No. But anyway, he gets to where he's going, and where he's going is the hangar, which is housing the spaceship. There's a big sign saying danger, radiation, and David's like, I'll just go in. So he does go in, and there's no guards, no security cameras, nothing. So he just boards the spaceship. It's all like tinfoil inside, it's all silver. I know what you mean. And then suddenly a chair appears, and a voice says, sit down.
Who's that?
Sit down, Navigator.
So he does. He does indeed. A monitor appears in front of him and starts to speak to him. It says, I need your knowledge. So it turns out David has all this knowledge locked in his brain that the computer on board this spaceship should have, but during the travels there was some sort of storm or something made up.
My favorite part was all the exposition.
And the computer lost a lot of knowledge. but David's been on the trip, so he should have the knowledge. He just doesn't remember having it. It's all very dull. Somehow the people at NASA, led by Dr. Faraday, they discover David's on board the spaceship. They all come running along and taking guns at it. They don't use them. The spaceship fires laser beams, destroying the padlocks on the security gate. They still don't fire at it. And it just flies off, and they still don't fire at it. They fly along for miles, and they only stop because David needs to go for a tea. He needs the toilet. So they stop beside some cows. That's strange. And they find out this computer, right, this alien spacecraft is so intelligent, it knows everything, it can travel at any speed, it can go anywhere in the galaxy, and it knows everything. That we also find out it doesn't know the word privacy, and it doesn't know the word promise. So it's a liar. Well, it's a liar. When David finishes doing what he's doing, urinating, right, NASA catch up. Yeah, completely pointless seeing this, because NASA catch up, David and the spacecraft just take off at light speed.
Come aboard quickly, Navigator.
David decides to name the craft Max, and as they're travelling above America, we find out Max has been to a million other planets. Yeah, he finds all these other aliens on board, the little boy does. He goes up to one and it's just a giant idol. What's going on? It's just from another planet, I guess. There's something else that eats David's cap, and there's something else that is like a little... What do you think is the little thing he holds? Oh, it's like a little mole or something. It's kind of like a mole, but it's this cute little thing, and David just holds it for the rest of the movie. It's definitely dead by the end. Some scenes, when you see David holding it, it does look like just a little dead creature, because it's not moving or reacting or doing anything. It looks just like... Max tells us that little creature wants to go home, but what it doesn't know is shortly after Max took it from its planet, stole it, kidnapped it, abducted it, shortly after that, the planet was destroyed. Oh my goodness.
Max did that?
Yes, Max, really.
This is dark. Max asks David to lie on the floor. No, Max asks David to lie on the floor of the craft so it can scan his mind. Yeah, and it goes too deep and it becomes almost human. Yeah, it becomes annoying.
It's really, really annoying.
It's like PeeWee Herman. It's like PeeWee Herman, yeah. Do you know who Paul Rubens is? Yeah, Paul Rubens is the voice of this shit. Yeah, Paul Rubens is PeeWee Herman. What? Yeah, so it is PeeWee Herman doing the voice. Yeah. That's why it's so annoying. Well, if you find PeeWee Herman annoying, who doesn't? Yeah, I can see why it would be annoying. And all that stuff. But it becomes sarcastic and it becomes cheeky, and David and Max get into an argument over something, and Max decides, well, I'm just going to free fall to Earth. If you think you're so smart, you can save the day. So it starts to free fall 20,000 feet. Yeah, and everyone at NASA is back at the day, so they've given up chasing, I guess. Oh yeah, they're watching it on a computer screen somehow. Don't know how, but they can see what's going on. And then when David pulls up at the last minute, they all cheer. What?
I'm the Navigator. I'm the Navigator.
How do they see this? How do they know what's going on? There's no cameras. They're in the middle of nowhere. They're above the ocean. They're about to crash. And NASA can see it all. Yeah, I don't know how, but because this movie's rubbish. Dr. Faraday speaks to David's parents and brother and say, stay at home in case he comes back here, because we'll be able to intercept him and take him back for more tests and make sure he's okay, of course. Sure, that's their concern. Basically under house arrest. Yeah. So we get more shots of David and Max flying around. They're playing the beach toys. They start this place called Gator City.
Gator City. This must be Florida, Max.
And they meet this guy there, a big guy. Yeah, big guy. So Max instantly calls him Big Al. You nasty Big Al. And then he starts calling him Piggo. Oink, oink, and all this stuff.
Hey, Limbo! Oink, oink!
Yeah, Piggo's a bit mean just because he's a larger guy. Oink, oink! Destroy the spacecraft!
Piece of crap.
Anyway, David goes into Gator City, which is just a shack in the middle of nowhere, to use the phone. Yeah, I don't know how he knows his parents knew none there. He didn't even know their address yesterday. Anyway, he phones them somehow. And he speaks to Jeff and he says to Jeff, Give me a sign in the sky so I can find you guys because I don't know the address. So he does know the address that he does the phone number. Sure David. So by now it's night, sun high. And Jeff sneaks out the house. Well done, NASA guards. There's armed guards all around the house that Jeff manages to just climb out a ground floor window with a bag of fireworks. He fires off the fireworks into the sky. David and Max are flying around and they see the fireworks and David says, "That's my family." Max says, "How do you know?" And David says, "I just do." But how does he know? I don't know. They land in front of David's house. Max and David say goodbye to each other.
Thanks for the great ride, Max. It was lots of fun.
David starts to step off. He sees the NASA guards. He sees Dr. Faraday. He sees his family. And he says, "Sorry, folks." Steps back on board and flies off. What's this about?
I'm sorry. I don't belong here now.
He honestly doesn't care that he's Stanley. Well, it's not that. You see, he really wants to go back to 1978. Yeah, didn't Nax? And they're saying their goodbyes. A second ago, Nax said, "Sorry, I can't take you back to 1978. It just wouldn't work." But David thinks, well, it might work. Yeah, I don't know why. Nax, the supercomputer has told him it won't work. Despite this, David gets back on board and says, "Take me to 1978. Max says, "Well, we can try, but it might scramble your brains." David says, "Well, it's a risk I'm willing to take." He is an idiot child.
If you go back in time with me, you could be vaporized.
Let's do it.
All right, if that's your decision.
Well, they go through a cosmic storm, and the next thing you know, David is waking up and it's 1978. He's back in the ditch.
That was easy.
David and Max have a more emotional goodbye this time,
I'm gonna miss you.
and it's 1978 again. Yeah, he heads home, sees his dog, the Highlander of dogs, the Northpole. It's not that old. Sees his little brother, his mum and dad, and they're all getting on the boat ready to go for dinner without him. Well, I think they're hoping he's going to turn up in a few minutes. They're ready to set sail. They don't care about this kid. They do. He runs down to the boat, he sees his mum and his dad, gives his mum a big hug and says, "I love you, Mum."
Huh? I love you.
Yeah, she says,
I thank you, sweetheart.
"Thanks." Great. They head off in the boat. The dog looks terrified by the wading on this boat. Dogs are not made for boats. Well, as they're setting off, David shows Jeff the little alien creature. He's still, well, is it dead? I don't think it's dead, but Jeff's very amused by this little alien creature. Throw it overboard. It could kill us all. You don't know what it's going to do. If it breeds and overtakes this planet, it's your fault, David. Let's calm down. It's okay, that dog will eat it anyway. Out in the water, David looks up to the night sky. He sees Max flying off back home to whence he came. Whence. And Max shouts, "See you later, Navigator!" "See you later, Navigator!" Like, so loud that David can hear it on Earth. No one else hears it. Not another one of the 6 billion people on the planet at the time. Well, that's the end of the movie. So you didn't like it? It's just dull. Not a lot happens. It's like a guy talking to a little boy talking to an annoying robot. It's rubbish. I don't think it's rubbish. I know it's not as fast paced as a lot of kids' movies. Yeah. I don't think kids would sit through this. Well, I think they like the fantasy aspect, you know, being taken off into space, travelling through time, things like that. You don't really see any of it though. Well, let's not argue, let's move on. Fine. Trivia? Trivia. On the way home from the Frisbee Championships in 1978, the parents are listening to "You're the One That I Want." You're the one that I want. You are the one I want. Do you know that song? Yeah, from Greece. Yeah, which was released in 1978. Nice touch. Very good. One of the things you can see on board Nax is the flux capacitor from Back to the Future. Ah, okay, I never noticed that. Yeah, I don't even know what Back to the Future is. Have you not seen it? No. That's another one for the list. Oh god. No, it's good. It's good. Any more trivia? Yeah. This is the 122nd live action movie from Disney. Alright, cool. That it wasn't even actually a Disney movie. It was an independent company that made this movie, and then Disney got it. Interesting. Yeah. Well, that's another movie that I saw a few times growing up. I thought it was pretty good. The 80s must have been tough. Well, listen, we're going to go, but we'll see you next time. Hit like, hit subscribe, like to another video, please.